Hello and welcome. It's a little bit on the cold side. It's been -5. I think the temperature's slowly creeping up. So we're here at the Papillon side of Moon Moth, and we've got quite a few goodies and quite a few things to go through today. So onwards and upwards. It is crisp today, and we have had quite a bit of snow over the past couple of weeks, which is gradually gone, thank goodness. So just a little rundown on what's been happening. Last weekend I met up with one of our viewers, Audrey, in Edinburgh, and we decided we would have lunch. We'd meet and we'd have lunch and have a little chatter. So we booked a place called the Witchery. It's right beside the castle. It's called the Witchery by the Castle. And I got to admit, we thought this was a little bit funny. It amused us. But what a beautiful place. It is extremely old, over 500 years old. I think it's closer to 800 years old. So we met up and had lunch. We come from opposite ends of the country, really, and it was absolutely glorious, and spent the whole afternoon chattering about all sorts of subjects. And like yourselves, I am sure we all have so many things in common during these subjects. So that's the light. We don't get much light in here today. We'll get about 2 hours of sunlight, and that is it. So anyways, that was a great time. I really enjoyed that. Interesting dark area there. And we will do it again. So if you are, by any chance, in Edinburgh, if you do go there, I certainly can recommend the Witchery. It's very difficult to get in anywhere. You have to book well in advance. So, on to this today. We'll see what's happening at the bottom of the forest. See if there's any changes. I haven't seen any deer or any animals as such yet on my way in. Usually sometimes see a few deer. They love this cold. Anyway, so we'll see what we see. Recently, I'm going to go back about a month. I was visiting a friend who lives about 4 miles from here, actually. And as I was coming up, I looked back over my shoulder at this area of the forest here. In fact, I'm telling stories, it was more here, this area of the forest here. And I was looking above the trees. It was a very cold night. It was dark, it was about 10 o'clock at night. And I was just drawn to look up there. And I saw a shaft, if you like, of light straight out of the forest, and it was there 1 second and it was gone the next. And it's quite difficult to sort of explain these because you doubt yourself. You start thinking, did I just see that? Was that my imagination? And I kept looking, never happened again. Now this has occurred about 18 months ago, and I was going to visit the same friend. And it was a different part of the forest. It was the old moon moth forest, which is a good long way down there. And I had been driving up, and you can see it. That's on the peak of a hill, so you can see it. It was a moonlit night. It was dark again, and I happened to look over there, and it was just like the flashing on of a switch. The minute it was there, and it was gone. And it's a beam that comes in a vertical out of the top of the forest. Now, it's not a narrow pencil beam. My guess is it's probably about maybe 10 to 15 yards across. It's quite remarkable. And I have asked, on both occasions I asked, you doubt yourself. You think, did I really see that? Is it just my imagination? But anyway, it turns out I asked, and the response I got was, it's there if you want to step into the heart space. If you want to step into that space. At that time of night, by myself, I must be truthful, I'm absolutely no chance of me stepping anywhere. So, there we go. Right, now, I'm loaded down with bags here today, because I've got quite a bit to do today. First of all, look at this. Look at this. We have a bag. We have a bag. Bit of a frozen bag. I can't see any cuts on that. It's a bit frozen. I'll put that on my pile. Nothing in the nets. Oh, there should be 2 nets. Well, that's interesting. There should be 2 nets. There's 1 net. I put two lots of, oh, there we are. 2 lots of nets up. Here it is. That's walked all by itself. How did it manage that? And it's emptied its contents. What's beside it? Yes, I think that one's huge gash in that, completely gone. Let me do that over there where you can see the light better. Right. Don't like to complain about the sunlight because it is very, very bright. We see so little of it. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it's here. So we should have 4 bags. We've now got the 2 nets, but we should have 4 bags. Again, emptied, but it had a cone stuck on it. Now there you go. See if I can get that. Yeah, it's quite a large gash in the bottom, but I don't see any other bags. Right. Okay, so we have another bag here. There's a hole on the side there. Right, well, I have some goodies here that Audrey has brought me. And she has brought these for the people. So this is Audrey's gift for the people. And we have here some apricots, some soft apricots. So pop those down because They seem to go down a big treat. And then, oh look, we have some pecan halves. Pecan nuts. Oh no, they're going to like these. They certainly will. These are Brazil nuts. And, ooh. This is pineapple and papaya. So there's some of those for them as well. So also Audrey has brought some of these. These are incense sticks. They look very nice. They're sandalwood. So I'm going to light those. Usually I fail miserably at lighting these, but you don't see how long it takes me just to get these lit. But we'll try on now. There we go. Oh, they smell lovely. They smell divine, actually. Wow. So this is all from Audrey for the people. And I'm going to thank you, Audrey, for these, because I think this is such a lovely, lovely idea. The ground is so hard, so it's going to take a little while to get them in. Go on. If you didn't want them to go in, they'd be wedging themselves in. There we are. Isn't that nice? That's absolutely fantastic. So thank you for that, Audrey. Let me just try and get the camera in the right place. That would be a good idea. There we go. Thank you, Audrey. What I've also got here are some apples. I've added these apples. They look lovely in this afternoon light, don't they? Right, we'll have a little wander down here. In the constellations, in the stars, in the constellations, when you look up in the sky, have you noticed one called Cassiopeia? This is the one that is shaped like a W. It's quite prominent in the sky. Now, origins of the family names struck me with this because I was looking at the stars that are actually within Cassiopeia and what the stars are called. So I'm going to put I'll put a screenshot of it on here so you can see. This is what the shape of Cassiopeia is, what it's like. See the W? Bit stretched. So on the left hand side we have Segin, S-E-G-I-N. Then next to that is Rochba. It's quite an interesting name. And then in the peak in the middle we have Gamma Cassiopeiae. And then next to that we have Shedar, S-H-E-D-A-R, Shedar. And then on the far top, the star on the far right is called Caph, C-A-P-H. The reason why I'm bringing these to your attention, the family names. The first one of the Janu people who opened the doors for me, if you like, eased the psychic doors for me. We all have them, just they're not always open. And that was Ahochida. So think of that name, Ahochida. And there we have a name called Shedar. So is that a coincidence? Or is that how they name themselves? Although their names have meanings, do they name themselves from stars that belong to constellations? And then that one on the top right, You can see it on the top right there. Caph, C-A-P-H. So if you think of the partner of, or the mate of a Fenian, is called Caif, C-A-E-F. Are those names connected? Do they just sound the same, or are they connected? And I'm going to ask. So, Athenian, can you give me any insight onto the names within your family group and the planets, and particularly, in this case, Cassiopeia? Some of our names sound similar, but they're not the same. Some of our names do come directly from stars. We have different names to stars than you do. Right, that's understandable. So, the Shadar, is there any connection between that name and Ahochida? Ahochida's name. She's saying no. Caif, is there any connection between that name and your name? Your partner's name? She's saying no. So there we go. I asked the question. I thought it might be connected, but seemingly it isn't. Just want to show you this little piece of filigree work. See? Like divining rods. Oh, now that's... Athenian is telling me that is exactly what it is. What is it divining? It's a bit like X marks the spot. That's the next little thing I want to ask about. X and Y. I'm going to ask, is there a coincidence in that? So you know we see X signs in the forest. We've all seen them. An X that marks the property, the territory. We live here. Janu people live here. Janu, X-A-N-U-E, or A-N-U, depending on how you spell it. Like that. But there are big X's in the forests. And Y, meaning friendship. So do we agree that that's what the X and the Y mean? X, like the nameplate on a door. X for Zanu. Y meaning friendship. Do we agree? Are we agreed on that? So if you think about human beings, the human DNA, the human genome, guess what it is? It's a spiral. It's an elongated spiral. And we, as human beings, are made up of X chromosomes and Y chromosomes, dependent on what sex we are. Do you think that is a coincidence? I'll leave that with you. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for watching. So there is a bit of noise today because there's a forestry track over there, quite a way over there, and the big trucks are coming down with the logs. They've been clearing it for... This is all going back to the storm that was 2 years ago, and they're still trying to clear a lot of the forest. And this is forest that, as a crop, has now... It should have had another 20 years to grow, but because the storm pulled the trees down, they're taking it early. So have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and be kind to one another. Okay, lots of love. Bye.